Hey, this is Matt Boggs, and today we're going to talk about how to be resilient when somebody ghosts you. I've done some ghosting videos in the past, specifically why men ghost, and also a video on what you can say when a guy who ghosts tries to come back into your life. And I'm going to post those in the description below, links to those videos. But today we're going to talk about how to be resilient when you experience someone ghosting you. And the first step to this is to realize that the landscape of dating today has changed. Never before in the history of the planet have we been such a digital dating community with texting and with online dating apps. We're experiencing more men ghosting or disappearing without any communication than ever before. And let me tell you something, it's not just men who are ghosting. Women will ghost as well. I have a lot of guy friends who talk about them being ghosted and women ghosting. So it happens on both sides, and it's part of the landscape of dating these days. You're gonna run into it some of the time. So I have clients that will ask, or people that will ask, someone ghosts them, well, what did I do wrong? What mistake did I make? What's wrong with me that I can't make a connection with this person, that they just disappear? Now, needless to say, ghosting sucks, okay? The fact that this person doesn't have the communication skills enough to be upfront with you and they just find it easier to disappear, it sucks. But it's just part of the landscape. So it's kind of like driving. When you drive, you're going to run into some red lights. Like, it's just going to happen. I mean, it's part of the driving landscape. So it doesn't do you any good to ask the question, why am I attracting this red light into my life? What's wrong with me that I'm sitting here at this red light? Why am I not able to just only have green lights? Why am I having this red light? So you're making meaning out of something that really doesn't need to be made meaning out of. And so that's the first step, is just to accept that there's going to be some of that. And unfortunately, that's part of the landscape, but it's required to move through that in order to have the relationship that you want. Now, there is something to be careful of here, because I will often have clients that say, well, am I doing something that is attracting more of this into my life? The first key in being resilient when it comes to someone ghosting you is to neutralize the experience. And what that means is, don't give it negative meaning. Because what happens is, if you give it negative charge, if you give it a negative meaning, like, oh, there must be something wrong with me, see, this always happens to me, I always attract ghosters, or I must be flawed in some way, and you give it this real negative emotion, then you are starting to attract more of that into your life. There's a principle of attraction described in the book Think and Grow Rich, where Andrew Carnegie, who's one of the richest men in the world at the time that this book was written, he describes this principle this way. He says, any idea that is held in mind, that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. So what this means is, any idea held in mind that you either have a high positive attachment for, is something that you would love, or a high negative attachment for, is something that you loathe, it's something that you hate, it's something that you don't want. Either one of those, actually, because you have an emotional connection to those things, you're going to attract more of into your life. You see, life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you are, what you're a vibrational match to. So the key here is to actually neutralize the experience. Don't give it negative meaning, give it neutral meaning, and connect to what it is that you want, and let what you don't want be like water off a duck's back. Hey, that's just part of the landscape. I'm moving on. Next. Let me give you an example of this. This is a client of mine who's going through the Manifest Your Man program. She's about halfway through the program, and she posted in our private Facebook group this story. And I called and got her permission to share this with you, because I thought this was such a powerful example of what it means to neutralize an experience so that you can connect to the kind of experience you want. Here's what she writes. Just wanted to share something that happened to me last night. It started out exciting, then quickly turned into the worst dating experience in my life. And from there, it turned into one of the best first dates I've had in a while. Now, before I actually dive into the story, I want to give you a resource, because this is a resource that can help you neutralize the negative experience, and it's an affirmation ebook. This affirmation ebook is going to help program your mind to what it is that you do want, so that you can attract more of that into your life. So I'll link it up here in the video and also in the description. It's a gift from me to you. You can go ahead and download that, and it's going to help program your mind. She says, I've been talking to 2 guys on Plenty of Fish. Both seem like nice guys and genuinely interested. One was a 9 out of 10 and the other was more of a 7 out of 10. Both asked me out this weekend. I chose Mr. 9 and told Mr. 7 I already had plans but would like to meet him soon. I ended up getting stood up by Mr. 9. That has never happened to me before. He kept making me think he was on his way, but never showed up and eventually stopped responding. So it left me feeling devastated and embarrassed and depressed. I was ready to go home and cry. While driving home, I received a message from Mr. 7 asking how my night was going. I wanted nothing to do with any guy that night. I just wanted to curl up in my bed and cry. But all of the courses I've been taking in Manifest Your Man and applying what I've learned didn't let that situation bring me down, and I allowed my feelings to be felt, and a few minutes later I said, that's enough. No more moping over a guy that's not worthy. I replied to Mr. 7 and told him my plans for the night had changed and that I was going home to relax. He offered a last-minute outing if I was interested. He said he wanted to give me a Friday night that I deserved and wanted to get to know me a bit more. With some reservation, I accepted and went on one of the best dates I have had in a while. So excited for this guy, and we will be going out again soon. I am loving the new me. So let's unpack what she did. She felt her feelings, she felt the sadness, but then she gave it a deadline. She said, no more moping. I'm going to reconnect to a new experience in my life. See, the paradigm or the limiting belief wants to keep you in that devastated, depressed state of being. It wants to drag you down there. It wants to try to tell you something's wrong with you. You attracted this. Something's flawed in you. Otherwise, this guy would have showed up on this date. And all of that meaning is going to drag you down into a depressed state of being. And you don't have to do that to yourself. You can actually neutralize that experience and focus on what it is that you want. Because remember, any idea held in mind, either feared or revered, will begin to clothe itself immediately in the most convenient forms available. So you want to get connected to the thought that you want. So let me give you a thought that will help you shift and neutralize the experience when a man ghosts you. And the thought is this: instead of getting frustrated or angry at this guy, what if and this is going to be a challenge. I'm not saying this is going to be easy, but how radical would it be? What if you actually changed your emotional response to that to one of gratitude? You say, well, how can I feel gratitude for that guy? What if it was in this way? What if this guy was actually deselecting himself for you so that you didn't have to do it later? He's actually doing you a favor by clearing the way. It's kind of like you driving down the road and the cars that are in front of you blocking your way, pulling to the side to clear the way for you to meet your man. What if you neutralize this experience by saying, you know what? This guy just cleared the way for me. Thank you for not wasting my time. And you felt grateful for this experience rather than feeling resentful. Because when you do that, that actually disconnects you from the negative experiences and attracting more of it, and it connects you to the positive experience that you're looking for. That's connecting you to Mr. 9 in your life. That's going to be an amazing date, because that date is in store for you. As you keep moving forward, as you keep moving your feet, it will come into your life. So I would love to hear from you. When you get ghosted, how do you neutralize that experience? How do you use your mind? What thought do you think that empowers you and connects you to the future that you want instead of the future that you don't want? Post that in the comment section below. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, this is a great moment. Click that subscribe button, be part of this community, because we are dedicated to increasing love in our lives one day at a time and becoming expressions of light in this world. And you can be a part of it because each and every week we come out with a new video to give you skills, trainings, inspiration to support you in that endeavor. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.